Over 12 years ago, I lost my mom, Edelmira B. Tolentino, aka E.T. And it's taken every bit of these 12 years before I can even speak about my mom without completely just breaking down or being overwhelmed by emotions. But it only makes sense to share about my mom this year, not only because I finally have the strength and the courage and I've done the inner work to be able to talk about her now, but it's also because she loved 2020, as you can see here in her license plate. She loved 2020 for a few reasons. She was always into vision and seeing. And so 2020 was kind of her thing. Yeah, so here I am attempting to share. So beginning facts, my mom, even as a single mom, definitely loved and adored me and always was right completely by my side. Now, as time went on, some things changed for various reasons, but certainly when I was a baby and a kid, she was just my whole world, and I believe I was hers as well. My mom, myself, and my cousin Samantha. I don't know what Samantha's doing, but obviously being bad, which is not a surprise. Hee hee. One of my favorite pictures of all time. My Lola, my mom, and my godmother, and me. My grandmother joined my mom this year in heaven, and they are also buried together at Resurrection Cemetery. A few photos of even as a teenager and how close my mom and I were together. So even growing into young 14, 15, 16, we were about as close as this. Oh, one trait of my mom's that, one of many, that I believe she instilled in me, even if it was just by me observing her or maybe in our genes. Most people felt very connected. She always gave her complete presence and attention to you, and you felt like $1 billion with her because you could tell her heart, her soul, everything was with her. I think this picture kind of embodies that because here I am, and in a lot of pictures where you see settings like this, you'll always see that her attention is a lot of times with me. Whether we're holding close or just together. Like I said, just always with me. And it wasn't just with me. She made, I think, everyone feel that way. It's a beautiful trait to be present. Another trait that my mom and I and my daughter Natalie share is that we love babies and pets and animals and, life. But my mom was always just so fun and loving with little ones. Here's a picture of my mom with Dylan, my nephew, and apparently, I don't know the story behind this, but it looks like she just jumped right into the bathtub. I don't know, maybe he didn't want to get in the bathtub or she just thought it was fun, but she just jumped right in. This is my mom with my cousin slash brother, Pal. And again, just complete attention and just love and joy. And that's the thing about my mom that a lot of people absolutely loved, is that she was just smiles, fun, love, excitement, and happiness. And for full disclosure, things weren't always like that behind the scenes. I think she dealt with a lot of difficulties, but in terms of with others and in public, there was nothing fake about it. She just loved people and loved life when she was with people. Another shot of that with her in the bathtub and my nephew Dylan. It's my mom with my beautiful little girl Natalie. I'm here with me and Clever, kind of like a nephew-ish for me. My cousin brother Pal's stepson. My mom was an extrovert, which is a bit different from me. I think she definitely got a lot of energy from being with people and just love people. She loved people and people love her. Again, because she's genuine, she's authentic, she's fun, she's exciting. One thing I definitely think that I now, even more so than ever, learned is that my mom, I did not understand racism growing up at all. And that was just because, I don't know, it would never dawn on me because I just wasn't raised seeing anything like that. I believe, if anything, my mom was completely colorblind. It was never a thing. She loved everyone and treated everyone exactly the same. And that was with complete and open heart, love, support, and just a genuine care. She has some great friends that have loved her for a lifetime and more. Look at her, just full of life for sure. It's my mom, one of her best friends. But literally, that's how people felt about my mom. You just want a hug. She's just so fun. I don't know how else to put it. Awesome. And going along the theme with fun, my mom, again, knew how to make people feel special, and she enjoyed that. Here we are in New Orleans, and my godparents, that's my godmother, came to visit us in New Orleans. And I think my mom just got all these fun, amazing balloons to surprise. And as somewhat simple as that is, it's just the over-the-top, fun, exciting, beautiful thing about her. At work, which she, going with the 2020, she is all about optical world. She's been in the optical industry her entire life, just about. And she would do fun events at her optical stores. Here we are she's putting together like a holiday time and event, and, always supported that. And then, of course, balloons to make it festive. And look at her, just fun. And with loving family and support. This is another event that she had at an optical where I was got dressed up as a clown for the day to hand out balloons and do anything. I think I was about 14 at this time. I couldn't find any pictures, but it was pretty funny when she told me, you need to be a clown and, do this event at work. And I thought she was kind of clowning me, but needless to say, she had the whole outfit and makeup artist and everything ready to go. My mother chose Pam to be my godmother and her husband as my godfather, and that had a huge influence on my life. And even though I haven't seen my godparents in a long time, they're a part of my life, and I think of them a lot. I think it was difficult at first, when I say at first, these last 12 years, to be around anyone that reminded me of my mom. But I do hope that anyone knows that if they were close to my mom, how much they mean to me. The reason why they were so special in our lives is there were always lots of events. I was the only kid usually at these all-adult parties, but they are just a smart group of people that have a good, fun time in a very intelligent but cool, crazy way. Here they are playing charades, and again, I was like the only kid, and a lot of times I wasn't necessarily in the room with them, but I got a lot of influence from them. Pamela and her husband, the DeSantis, are artists, and their home and their decor and just everything about them was kind of larger than life in a very artistic and creative way. And I do believe that some of the creativity that I hold comes from the influence of being around them and seeing their presence at a young age. Here they were visiting us in New Orleans. No, we were only there for 2.5 years, but it was one of the only time in our life when we didn't live in the DMV area, which is where I was born, raised, and still am. So them coming out to New Orleans was super fun. It's my godfather. Me and my godmother. My mom, my godmother, and I. In New Orleans. Another cool and fun thing that I believe I inherited from my mom and from my family as well is party and event throwing. My mom always made a very big deal about my birthday when I was young. And I'm an only child, so I guess that's easier to do. But here I am at McDonald's birthday. I mean, I remember this outfit and this jewelry thing, and I just knew I was, just amazing. And, McDonald's party seems funny now, but that back then, and even for these days, that was the party to have. Not a great photo to be able to see, but she one time rented a roller skating party when I was a teen, which was such a big deal, and I know it was costly at that time. This is another home event party. I have no idea why we thought climbing the tree in the front yard was fun, but we did, and I think it goes to show that my mom let us have fun. It wasn't, hey, get off the tree, you might break it, which I wouldn't blame her or blame anyone for thinking that, but I don't know, she just let that be had. Some more times from that party, and again, the things we think are fun. And this is probably as high as I've ever gotten on a tree, and as you can see, I'm probably not a good tree climber. Another influence that my mom had on me when I was young and what I probably pass on to or with my daughter is that, again, probably because I was an only child, but I had a very nice room. I am still very much obsessed with canopies and mosquito nets or some kind of enclosure in my bed, and I don't know if it came from this, but as you can see, she just had like a really cute and nice, beautiful space for me. And again, I've always kept that sort of den feeling, even though at the time of filming this I'm 42 years old. I still almost need and have to sleep with a canopy, tent, mosquito net, or some sort of den enclosed area. And I've certainly passed that on to Natalie as well. So another fun fact of the raising of me with my mom is that she always kind of trusted and let me, I won't say do my own thing, but certainly was relaxed about me growing up. Maybe potentially too relaxed, but she just kind of trusted me in that sense. Now, my dad, who's, technically my ex-stepfather, but he's certainly who I refer to as my dad, was the complete opposite and was completely strict. But if it were up to my mom, she'd let me do anything. And here's some pictures to prove it. Here's me and Sandra, one of my lifetime best friends. And, these pictures, I'm no more than, 14-ish years old. There was no real reason for me to be looking a bit grown in one way or another. But I think that was just our times. We kind of all grew up a little fast back then. But she didn't have any problems with that. She just trusted and kind of let me, I guess, be free, sort of. A cute little fact is my mom loved Halloween. Now, she didn't really was into anything like super scary, but my mom was very sexually, I won't say sexually charged, but she had a lot of energy to her. And, the Halloween, she was always just, very festive and a lot of fun and just cute and just a sexy mama. I have more pictures of this, but she's got this outfit on that is just so cool. And yeah, I love it. Speaking of fashion, my mom was quite fashionable. I do not take after that trait at all. I would wear I do wear the same black pants and black shirt, and if I had to try to make myself look fashionable, it would completely stress me out. That's just not natural for me at all. But my mother, on the other hand, naturally fashionable. I just can't even tell you. She never even really tried. It's not like she looked at magazines or followed celebrities or just did anything like that. She just was it. She just had it. She just always naturally looked like a fashion icon. And did it so gracefully and in a humble manner. And just, as a kid, I didn't even understand or realize or anything with growing up with it because it was just, who I lived with. It was my mom. She had so many different hairstyles. She could pull anything off. She just looked great. I've literally had the same hairstyle my whole life. Speaking of fashion, 2020 again came from her optical love, and she always had a ton of glasses. I should have a lot more pictures of her with different glasses, but you can just know she had so many different frames, and she just looked great all the time. This I showed earlier, the 2020 ET. Another trait that I took from her is personalized license tags. I always have personalized tags, and I think I got it from her. 2020 ET, as you can see, she loved vision, And, E.T., her name is Edelmira Tolentino, so E.T. was the fastest way. And again, even though this year for 2020 has been quite the roller coaster, the challenge, it certainly brings a lot of clarity in, and we can't fix deep-rooted issues without truly understanding and seeing things clearly. So definitely this year is for that, and I believe now more than ever we can change this world to be what it can be, what it needs to be. And 2020 is bringing a lot of clarity for all of us. Another trait I got from my mom and am likely already passed it on to Natalie is the love for convertibles and stick shift cars. So my mom loved, just like my Aunt Beverly, Porsche 911. My mom loved, as you can see, Mustang here, convertible. All of our family are manual stick drivers and somewhat hardcore about it, at least I am for sure. And now I've passed that on to Natalie. Natalie is a manual stick driver as well, and she's learning on a convertible Miata and a stick shift Jeep Rubicon Wrangler. So the love of vehicles is something that my mom passed on, my family's passed on to me, and I've passed on to Natalie. And to be quite honest, I love it because we do spend so much time in cars a lot. Well, maybe not so much as much anymore, but when we did. And so to love and enjoy your time in a car is, for me, makes the life even that much sweeter. Another amazing trait of my mom's is that she always grew and pushed herself with learning and expanding. Here she is getting her citizenship, and I don't know that she ever needed to or had to, but she just, it was just something she wanted to do, and she did it, and it was amazing. This is a significant picture because my mom does not do well on rides and roller coasters or anything of that nature. And I remember this day because she just said, you know what, I'm going to go for it. And she got on some rides and it was amazing. And she didn't get sick, thank goodness. This was absolutely incredible. I mean, for her to honestly get on a roller coaster is absolutely insane, unheard of. And I was so proud of her. And of course, I'd been on this ride a million times. I knew when that camera was coming. And I just told her, just have fun. Scream when it's scary because that's what you got to do. You got to release that energy and have fun. And she did. And it was just an amazing time. I love this picture. I talked about my mom being humble. And she was so humble that I didn't even know a lot of things about her. And one of those was that what an amazing Tahitian dancer she is of a soul. I remember seeing this picture of her from a long time ago, but I've never seen her dance. She never talked about it too much. I just knew that there were stories about her being amazing. And then as an adult, I knew she was throwing a surprise party and that she was going to perform, and oh my gosh, I wish I could find video footage of this. When I tell you, as an adult, seeing my mom come out and surprise with a Tahitian dance, which I'd never known what it was, and how incredibly sexy, beautiful, and fast. I mean, she was literally like Shakira level. Like, I just could not believe it. It was so beautiful, so incredible. And I just wish I had video footage because I can't even describe how amazing of a dancer she is. Another somewhat hidden talent that I don't know that I fully talked with her ever about or maybe even recognized was that she had a love for photography. And you know, here she is being the model of it. And there's some photos that I'll show later. But she also was very comfortable in front of the camera. That is not something I'm good at right now, but just always beautiful. And I was lucky enough to be her daughter and to be the subject of her photography. And not something I realized until having looked back and found some albums of hers and kind of just looking at an artistic view of her captures. My mom was very Marie Kondo. She did not have a lot of belongings. I don't know if that was due to moving around a lot, but I don't think so. I think it was also just the simplicity of her life. Her life itself was kind of bigger than any items, so she kept very few items. This was one of them, and I'm assuming these are real shoes that I wore because they look a little worn out. But this is one of the few things that she kept, and I thought they were very special. She kept another pair, these little red booties with socks. You know, the Filipino in me wants to, like, smell the socks and make sure I'd showered that day, but I have not done it. I just refrained from doing it. She also saved cards from people, lots of people that she kept. Not a lot of cards, but a few. This is actually one that she's given me, and I think I actually saved these. But my mom was not a big talker. She didn't talk to me deeply too much about life, and I really do miss that. And poor Natalie, she gets it all. I am quite the deep talker with Natalie. But my mom would always give me cards, and they would not say a whole lot, but certainly expressed her love, and I certainly kept them. And they were always just beautiful cards. This is one card that she kept, and I'll show that later, but you know, it's a card that I made for her, or I'll show that maybe someday. But it was, yeah, I used to try to make my own little cute little pop-up cards. I think one of the biggest, if not the biggest thing about my mom is that she just really loved people, and she really loved her family. I think at times, for different reasons, she maybe relied on the love of a man, but I think deep down I know that in her heart she really came alive and loved her family, and her family loved her too. As you can see, our family is very big with females. We have a lot of females in my family. Her and her sister, cousin Karita, my mom and her two sisters, my Aunt Beverly and my Auntie Beth. And this speaks to their personalities too, but my mom loves her sisters. It's me pregnant, and my sister-in-law Rita, she's also pregnant. My mom is at Natalie's baby shower. Again, my mom with her sisters. I mean, that smile is exactly how she felt when she was with family. She loves family. Uncle Jimmy, Beverly, my mom, me. And Jimmy. My Uncle Bobby with my mom in DC. Uncle Bobby on that one day she rode things. family out in California, Auntie Celia, Uncle Bob. More with the West Coast family. My mom, my grandmother, me, Aunt Beverly. My mom, Bob, Auntie Celia. This is one of the last pictures of my mom before she passed. She's hanging out with my grandmother, Auntie Beth, Uncle Jack, Auntie Hassan, and Dylan. Look how happy she is. Look how happy my Lola is. As I look through these pictures and know and remember and think of you, wondering where you are, what you're doing. Are you catching up with your mom? Are you planning your great return? I'm hoping, actually I don't need to hope. I know how loved you are, how amazing you've been even in your short life here with us during this time. And knowing that I send, and all of us send, our love and excitement to celebrate your life every day and always. I love you, Mom. Happy birthday.